Fuck it, we'll do it live.
Doing it live again?
Fuck it, we'll do it live.
Okay. Yeah, we're doing it live again.
We'll do it live again. Fuck
We'll
it.
do it live again.
No again. We'll just do it live.
We'll just do it live.
Fuck it. Stumbling down history road. Jackson.
Jonathan.
D.
And today we're going to be talking about Carroll Shelby. The guy behind about 90% of your race car dreams.
Yeah, basically. Everybody knows the name.
Well, they all know the Shelby name. I don't think anybody really knows Carroll Shelby. Not unless you're actually involved with cars.
They might not know him personally, but they know the name.
Again, I think without a doubt they know Shelby, but I don't think that they know Carroll Shelby.
I only know Carroll Shelby because I'm a car family.
Unfortunately, this generation, you're probably right.
I mean, he did die May 10th, 2012. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, just in case you didn't know.
Yeah, I mean, 10 years ago. Whew, who would have guessed?
Wow, he lived to 2012. I forgot about that.
Yeah, he lived to 2012. He was born in 1923, January 11th to be exact.
Sounds like somebody read the Wikipedia page again.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure did. It's fine, you know? Somebody has to come semi-prepared. Look at you. Look at you, fucking back in your bowl now. Packing a little one-hitter now.
I forgot to pack it before we started. I'm sorry.
As you
I
should be.
was busy.
As you should be.
I just got back from a con. Leave me alone.
No.
You got back from a what?
Convention.
Oh, okay.
I was at MANYC.
Two of us are fucking nerds, and then the other one of us is a car nerd.
Yeah, I know everything about cars. That's about it.
He knows everything about cars. Everything.
There was some
First year,
fancy
the
cars there.
First year, the 427 Shelby Cobra. What year?
I don't know that.
Oh, see? He knows everything about cars. 1965. That's why it's my favorite Shelby Cobra.
It's the first one?
Mm-hmm. First 427.
Listen, I work on them. Upside down, backwards, and my eyes closed. But
You've worked on Cobras?
Yeah.
There's a difference.
Legit ones or factory 5 ones?
Well, I have a customer that has
We should preface. Factory 5, they're replicas that are made today by a company, and you can basically just kit car it.
Yeah.
Really good kit cars, but still a kit car.
I believe it was Factory 5.
Okay, so like, you know, $80,000 as opposed to like $500,000 to $1 million.
Yeah.
So yeah, Shelby Cobras.
Yeah.
We're talking about how, you know, it's probably not $1 million one.
No, it's definitely it's definitely like an $80,000 car. It's gorgeous.
Oh yeah. Factory 5 makes amazing stuff. There was a guy who I used to work with while I was in the town of Hempstead who had a British green with silver stripes that was signed by Carroll Shelby, Factory 5.
Ooh.
Nice.
Where was it signed?
Dash.
Do you make sure to varnish over that so it doesn't go away? Because I would have. I'm just going to put a little bit of clear coat here.
Oh, he Sharpied it. Sharpie is permanent. It says so on the marker.
Yeah. Sharpie's not going nowhere. As long as you cover the car in the sun, it ain't fading.
Yeah, he covered it with the sun. As I said, January 11th, 1923, he was born. He was born out in eastern Texas. I don't remember the name. It starts with an L. Wikipedia it yourself. I don't give a fuck about it. I think it's like Leesburg.
The statistician took the night off, so she's not here.
Yeah, no statistician tonight. No producer, no director, no food getter.
It's a lonely night tonight.
Yep. Just the boys. Sausage party.
For the boys.
That movie sucked.
Yes, there was a lot of sucking in that movie. But he was born in Leesfield, something with an L, Texas, eastern type. And at the age of 7, he got diagnosed with a faulty valve in his heart. So he started having heart conditions basically since, ever. And he ended up going and enlisting into the Air Force for World War II.
They actually accepted him with heart conditions?
I was literally about to say the same fucking thing.
Yeah, so he was actually a fighter pilot instructor.
I didn't know I thought they turned you away if you had serious conditions.
It was World War II. They're kind of not as picky.
You've seen Captain America. You saw that scrawny guy.
That's a movie.
Hey,
Small
as far
Chris
as I'm
Evans.
concerned, that's America's ass.
Look, man, you can stick it where you want. Just stick it away from his ass. But yeah, so he gets brought in. He ends up being an instructor. He ends up getting discharged after World War II. And in '53, he starts picking up all sorts of like random odd jobs. He is a failed poultry farmer. Yeah, he was a chicken farmer for a little while. Yep, he worked with the oil rigs. And
That
then,
one makes sense.
Yep. In '54, he started doing rookie racing. In '56, he got picked up by it's either Austin Healey or Aston Martin. I think it's Aston Martin.
Well, we already said that he won for Aston Martin, so it's probably Aston.
That was in
Martin.
'59.
So
Yeah,
he
but it
just
was probably
bounced around like a whore.
No, so he was a racing team. He was part of the racing team for Maserati, Austin Healey, Ferrari, and Aston Martin, all throughout different parts. So he raced with Ferrari for a hill climb. He raced with Aston Martin for obviously the Le Mans. He raced with Austin Healey for a little bit, just fucking around with him. I don't remember specifically what. And Maserati, that I think is what he got picked up with initially, Maserati.
Okay.
And then from there, he was also into F1. He did a little Formula One racing back during this time, so he did a lot of fucking racing.
As you do.
Yeah, he brought home a lot of trophies. He was probably at the time, so mid 50s, one of the top 3 racers in America. Yeah.
Oh, may as well get it in. Not sponsored.
Not sponsored.
Not
Not
sponsored.
sponsored. Not sponsored.
Not sponsored.
Not sponsored. Not sponsored. Actually,
No, we're
you know what? We'll give him his little plug time. Go ahead, plug away. Since we're talking about cars,
All right, since we're talking about cars,
not sponsored.
as I said before, my name is Jonathan.
Not sponsored.
Not. I own Legendary Motion.
Not sponsored.
It's an automotive restoration and modification company that comes to your house and does all the work.
Not sponsored.
Totally sponsored.
Not sponsored.
Don't listen to him.
I'm not getting paid, therefore I'm not sponsored.
You want to get paid?
Sure.
Do you know how sponsorship works?
Sure.
You give
I'll
us
get
money.
paid.
We tell them. We'll put your information in the.
You can give me 50 cents and then I'll be sponsored. I don't care. But in the meantime, I'm not sponsored.
So, basically, we take care of and maintain people's car collections,
And I'm still not sponsored.
build the cars. You call us, we come to you. That's the long and the short of it. Check us out. Instagram, Facebook, legendarymotion.com.
We should note this is for Long Island, New York.
Yes.
Not fucking California.
Yeah,
Not,
yeah.
Alaska.
If you're watching off Long Island, New York, unfortunately, we're not that big yet. Hopefully to be one day. But as of right now, we're not.
What's your other business?
Oh, and my other business is Long Island Humvee.
Still not sponsored.
Oh, you're the guy with the Humvee from last year, aren't you? Now I
Yes,
remember
yes,
you.
that's me.
Okay.
So, build Humvees as to customers' orders, specs. So you give us a call, you tell us what you want, how you want it to be configured, build it for you, deliver it, and you have yourself a gay old time.
Did you deliver to a guy named Thomas Wraith by any chance?
He's definitely gay.
No.
He's definitely gay. He said a gay old time. And he's not sponsored by anything because he won't give us money.
All right,
You could be talking about like the Flintstones version of a gay old time.
Here's $20. Shut up.
Where's his sponsor?
What?
Start saying not sponsored.
No, I'm good. I'm good. You don't have to give me anything.
All right.
Give him a nickel.
See, he's easy.
Oh, he is easy. I don't know if you know this about him, but he is easy. But yeah, so basically, what ends up happening with this is he ends up racing for Le Mans. I keep saying ends up, but he is doing a race in 1960. He's in a Maserati, and
A Maserati.
yes, and he's racing not Le Mans, not nothing, major, but it's still a race, so it's obviously major. He was in the lead, and then he gets passed by another famous racing driver at the time, whose name is slipping me.
That's an
And then-
interesting name right there.
His name was Slipping Me?
It sure was, slipping me a rupee. And then,
Oh boy.
slightly different story. But
I mean, like that
He
one
ends
time
up-
in band camp.
But he ends up pulling off to the side and not finishing the race because he was taking a nitroglycerin pill in the middle of this race.
Yeah.
So-
that's a migraine happening, so I don't want to race either.
Yeah, he stops, gets into his suit so this way he can find his pills, pops the pill, and then he finishes.
He didn't wait to pit stop to do it?
This was the final lap. He was in first.
Ugh. What an idiot.
It was either that or die.
And kill other people.
You know what a nitroglycerin is for, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't
You
know
ever
why
actually
stopped.
fuck with one of
Should've
those,
just, Should have just kept going.
Yo, those things give you a serious. You ever have a nitroglycerin migraine?
No.
Oh my lord! I accidentally got one when I was in EMT school. I was done for the day. Side note,
Slight tangent.
like just like getting lit on your skin, it's done.
By the way, not sponsored. But so he then, actually follows the doctor's orders, and he stopped. He actually follows the doctor's orders and he stops racing, and with that, he actually ends up going into building cars, and this is more your forte.
Yes.
Where the story goes, he went to both Ford and he went to Chevrolet first to try and work on Corvettes and modify them. He had a couple little prototypes he was working on. He got 3 of them for himself, and he was like, "Yo, I'm gonna fuck around with these." And then Chevy was like, "Nah, fam, people won't buy that shit. People want the Corvette. We good, we solid." So it was like, wah wah. So he starts going over to AC Cars and Ford and being like, "Yo, I can get Ford engines for this car. Yo, I can get this car for your engines." Playing it off like, we already got this deal. So one thing leads to another, and he starts putting some engines into a car. Do you know what that creates?
Carroll Shelby. No, I'm kidding.
I mean, it could create Carroll Shelby. I'm
No, it
sure if you
didn't
put
create
enough
it.
car into an engine, you'll get Carroll Shelby.
That
But-
might certainly get motor oil in his veins.
But that was the first ever AC Cobra. He got a 260 Ford Windsor and shoved it into a AC Bristol.
That's bad.
He worked with Donald Moon.
The
Yeah.
Donald Moon.
Yeah.
No,
The Moon Eyes.
Oh, Moon equipped. Okay,
Yeah.
him.
He worked with
Okay.
him and a whole bunch of other hot rodders during the 60s in
Well,
order
that
to
was
get
right
this
on top.
shit started. And they basically just built it in the garage, the Moon garage, and popped it out in like 3 months, the first one. Story goes, which I'm sure it's true because why would they lie about it? They only had one car at the time, and they were starting to or one or two cars
I
at
remember
the
Dad
time,
telling
and
me
they were
about
like,
this.
"Yo, we got to start showing this off to different
Manufacturers.
magazines and getting the word out, different news outlets, and start publicizing this car. Just build
Gotta
up a
make a name for yourself.
yeah. So he took the same car like 10 different times and just painted it in between magazine shoots.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
That
So
works.
he was just like,
Like
"It's
a
a different car." Oh no, totally different. The last one was red. This is blood red. You see these racing stripes? Oh, totally different. So
Interesting. Similar story, but there was a. Did you ever hear about?
I did not.
How one of the most recent British sniper rifles got adopted. It was 3 guys in a shed, right?
Oh yeah.
It was just these 3 guys, and like we were like, okay, we want to make a really good sniper rifle. So they made a really good sniper rifle.
The British Army picks it up.
The British Army, straight. The British Army. Now they bring it to trials, right? The British Army like runs like.
This is great.
You know,
we love
they
this.
maybe
We
had
want
like
this.
a dozen working prototypes, and some more in the shop and shit, And so the British Army picks them up, and so they're trying to rush, to get this going and everything, and they're getting, and the British Army's like, oh, we're gonna send a guy down there to take a look at you.
Yeah, to see the manufacturing process.
So what they do is they rent a warehouse.
They hire some actors.
And
they take the 20 guns that they have made, and they put them in different parts of the assembly line. So I know this
all
story.
the parts just kind of scattered about and stuff, making it
all
look like
spread up and everything. So this way they can make it look like they have an actual assembly line in a real warehouse building these fucking guns.
Yes. And so
And then
the manufacturer goes and looks over
the agent. Yeah, he comes and goes, and he's like, "Yeah, we just want to make sure you weren't 3 guys in a shed."
No, it's even better. They took him out to lunch, and as they're sitting at lunch, he's like, "Oh, this was just a formality. We just want to make sure you weren't 3 guys in a shed and shit."
Yeah.
Totally no.
Who would have guessed?
No, we're not 3 guys in a shed. You have no idea.
Speaking of 3 guys in a shed, that sounds about your weekends.
My weekends are more like 1 guy in a shed. I'm by myself.
Oh, sad life.
Yeah. I've always done. You've known this. Most of my work, except for
Sad life.
Except for when you were starting out and working with us. Most of the work is done by myself.
Working with us. By working with us, you mean you.
Yeah. Well,
By we, do you mean the literally or the royal? Yes, and also yes.
Yes, and also yes.
Yeah. So I used to work with him for a bit. I helped him get some funds to start it up and whatnot. So technically, I'm partially sponsored myself.
Yeah. You're sponsoring yourself. Give me back that 20.
No, it's mine, bitch. It's called interest. You never paid me back on the loan.
Don't tell anybody that.
Just a small loan of $2 million.
It's fine. All of 10 people are going to view this.
They're going to view it 157 times.
It's still only people who view it.
Hey, you
our
never
loyal
know.
10.
It might go viral.
We've been trying. It's not
We have
working.
been doing some hot takes. Hot take of the day.
What?
Hot take of the week. Go.
I don't know what you're gonna do.
Soil and Green are people.
What?
Soil and Green is people.
Soil is people?
You
Soylent
don't know
Green is
that
people.
reference?
No, I've never heard it. What the fuck does that mean?
Okay, so
Jesus
there's
Christ.
this movie called Soylent
How
Green.
old are you?
38.
You're older than me?
Yeah.
Oh shit, that's not new. It's older than me. And Ralph is older than me. Okay,
It's good
whatever.
looks.
I thought you're about the same age as me.
How old
No.
are you?
I'm 31.
No, I'm 38.
Yeah, so you're a little.
Yeah, he's
okay.
got a couple years on us.
Fair enough. Whatever.
But
Okay,
yeah,
so
you
there's
really
this-
don't Green as people?
No, never heard that.
Okay, so
We're gonna have to learn you, boy. But we're gonna have to learn them on some Cobra and some Mustang talk and some
Well,
GT40 talk.
Okay, we were getting distracted here, yeah.
This is a little bit too much of a tangent. We're stumbling hard.
Sorry. My bad.
I'm
Yeah, how
British.
dare you bring up your fucking little sponsorship right here?
Yeah.
How dare you?
Sorry.
Look at it.
Anyway. If
Pour it
you
out.
happen to run into a 66 Chrysler Imperial Crown, let me know.
He does want one.
That is a...
That said, he can't afford it.
No, but it is my dream car.
A 66 Chrysler Imperial Crown.
Yes.
Okay.
Do you know what that one's from?
What it's from?
Please, for the love of God, say yes.
Yes.
And mean it.
Yes, I mean it.
What is it?
To be fair, it's not...
To be fair.
To be fair...
What is it?
It's a car. It's got
Because I'll
4
tell
wheels.
you,
I'll give you a hint.
Jesus
I'll
Christ,
give you the hint.
you're supposed to be the car
I'll
guy.
give you the hint you'll
Listen.
probably know. It was a Seth Rogen film.
Listen, when it comes to knowing cars, I know how to build them, fix them, work on them, and drive them.
And yet I haven't seen you do any of that.
What are you talking about?
Nobody on camera has ever seen this happen, so we actually don't know. This is a fact.
This is a
Yeah,
factual
you-
statement.
You worked with me when
You can't prove that.
Yes, I can.
We just went on about how you invested in it and everything.
But yeah, so
You know what you're doing. You're making me look like I don't know what I'm doing.
so yeah, he starts off with the
It's funny 'cause
260.
You're in the near expert seat too.
He starts off with the 260 Ford Windsor, puts it into the AC Bristol, and he ends up displaying that as the AC Cobra. So they end up actually doing a press conference and doing the trials for it, and they fucking blow it out of the water. I mean, the old adage of big engine, little car basically starts with him.
Yeah.
You know, if you ever see any asshole fucking put an LS into a Miata, that's where it started.
I actually was having this thought as I was driving.
Well, technically, it actually started with the Alders. So yeah, that's basically where the whole old adage of big engine, little car, Miatas, LS swaps comes about.
Thinking of though, I had this amusing thought on my ride home. I was like, what
Yes,
would
it
happen-
is very Teddy Roosevelt with the speak softly, carry large stick.
No, I was like, what would happen if I put a Hellcat engine into my Prius?
People have done it.
You drive a Prius?
He sure
The
does.
silver Prius right
Dude,
over
you
there.
helped him find the fucking Prius.
I don't remember.
It was that $5,000 one in from
Your old neighbor, the old tenant,
Yeah.
he bought it. The
Oh,
Prius that he
shit.
had.
Aye, yes.
You bought my old neighbor. You bought my old tenant's Prius? I don't remember that. Wow.
Yeah,
This
remember
is
when I was
okay.
asking you for like a $5,000 car that's reliable, and you told me a Prius, and then gave me it?
Yeah. Nope. No clue. Don't remember.
Not at all.
No.
Too much drugs.
No, I don't see the thing. Is I
Not
don't
enough
do-
drugs.
I don't. That's.
Try some drugs.
I don't do drugs. I just
Yes, you
have
do.
shit memory.
You do drugs.
No.
You're pretty old. So,
Such a tangent.
yeah, it's fine.
Anyway, yeah, no, I was
It's
like,
good.
what would happen if I put that Hellcat engine in my Prius?
People have done it. They run like 11s, 10s.
Like quarter miles?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Holy shit!
Yeah, you can find it on YouTube, bro. You can find anything on YouTube. We're on YouTube.
Yeah.
This is true.
Speaking of, subscribe. The only time I'm ever going to do this. Not sponsored. But, so, that was 61, 62. That's when they start coming out. They do the whole press conference. They blow it out of the fucking water. And then in 63, they pick up the 280 Ford Windsor because 260 wasn't big enough. And they were like, yo, we want more power. You know what's great with that? More fucking power.
More power.
Don't die on us. But
And I'm more
for
than
for fucking 5 years, from 62 to 67, this thing dominated pretty much any and all racetracks in America.
It was the king.
Not the King Cobra. That's something else.
No. I'm just
That's a
saying
gun.
it. I'm just. No, they actually made a King Cobra.
Yes, but it's also a gun.
Yeah. I
You talking
see.
about the Colt?
Yeah, Colt King Cobra.
I thought it was just a regular. I thought it was just regular Cobra.
Nope.
Oh, so it's okay. No, it's Python, Anaconda, King Cobra,
Yep. Snakes.
and then I think there's a Diamondback too, right?
I don't know about that one offhand. Oh, we're back on cars now? This is a car podcast?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Right now it is.
Yeah.
Supposed to be talking
So,
about
I
cars.
thought it was just a drinking podcast. Well, I'm drinking more.
so, in 1965, they end up putting in the 427, the Ford 427. Can you tell me a little bit about the Ford 27?
It's a big ass motor.
It sure is.
It's huge. Actually, I did a lot of when I worked for SK Speed.
It's
Not-
like one of
not
the more.
sponsored.
It is one of the more popular fucking old Ford big blocks.
Yeah, it's so many.
Now, can you tell me what a big block is?
Yeah, it's a big block.
Big block is over a certain amount of cubic inches.
It's I think over like 400, right?
Yeah, something like that. Anything over 400 is considered a big block.
Because you can turn a small block into a big block.
Now, is that different from liters?
Yes.
Cubic inches is.
We do not have liter cola.
Can I
See,
get a
because I
liter
know
of
there's
Coke?
like 350 liter or whatever. There's like
No 350 liter.
Or-
No 350
I don't know.
liter.
There's a lot of numbers.
350
and
cubic
letters.
inch.
There's
350
a
cubic
lot
inch.
of numbers and letters that I don't know.
So basically, it's the way that they're talking about displacement.
I know.
You can turn cubic inches into liter displacement. There is math that goes into it.
Ooh.
Like anything that, isn't worthwhile, math is involved.
Yeah. So, I've had.
Did I just throw you off there? But yeah, 427s. Go ahead, talk.
Talk about 427s.
Talk about something. Talk about Ford engines. Anything.
Well, listen, I've, in my experience, I've a lot of Ford engines, very reliable. When it comes to the older Ford engines, the older big blocks and everything, they're in so many of my customers' cars put Ford engines in their little tiny Miatas and their little tiny Honda Civics and everything, and you'd be surprised. I've got a customer who's got a twin turbo Honda Civic with a 427 in it.
The old adage: big engine, little car.
Yeah.
Shelby.
That's
Does that make it go faster?
no. It actually makes it go slower. Yes.
Cargo space?
No. Cargo drive.
Cargo road.
Cargo into the wall.
Speaking of going into the wall, in 1967, they released the Super Snake for the Shelby Cobra.
Snake.
It was a fucking 800 horsepower twin supercharged, one of two Shelby Cobras with a 427, and one was Shelby's, the other he made for Bill Cosby.
Oh shit!
He drove it exactly once. The guy who bought it off of him fucking flew into a goddamn lake and died.
Oh.
They recovered it, and then one of Bill Cosby's old friends bought it.
Oh, what a
That
shame.
car has
But that is the
fucking bizarre history.
Carroll
That's
Shelby's that sold in. I don't know about anything recently. I was listening to a podcast about it earlier. In 2013, that sold for like $5.5 million. Shelby's.
Did it sell on Barrett Jackson or Meekum or anything like that?
I don't know.
Speaking of only two versions of this car particularly existing, did you know there's only two actual 66 Chrysler Imperials left from that certain thing that I'm not mentioning yet that you haven't figured out? And both of them are in museums.
You belong in a museum.
Dr. Jones Peter Frampton is dead. He has no children or grandchildren.
I will let you know, it's not Batman.
However, he did fight Batman.
We're narrowing it down
I'm giving
for
you
the
hints.
66 Imperial.
You're
But-
confusing the shit out of me right now.
And you're not even high.
I'm not even, remotely, not even close to being stoned.
Well, you're close to being stoned.
Hey.
But yeah, so in '65, Henry Ford II, he tries to buy Ferrari, right? And
Is he the guy who got into a fisticuffs with Ferrari?
yeah, totally. Why not?
I mean,
But-
that was the movie, Ford versus Ferrari. They were like boxing and everything.
Queensberry
wasn't it?
rules, yes.
Yes.
Speaking of Queensberry rules, let's go. I'll boop you on the snoot.
We just got a whole boxing match from across the guy, right in the middle.
But, yeah, 65, he tries to buy it. Last minute, Ferrari backs out and is like, no, I don't want to sell to you. Because he's French now. He's not Italian, turns out. Never was.
I
Don't
love
know.
your Italian accent.
Surprise.
Of course. A boppity boopy?
Boopity boppity.
A boppity boopy.
And
That's
we're in
how
an
shitty
Italian
Family Guy's
restaurant.
from.
You still...
I have a mustache. I can speak Italian. Boppity boopy. But,
Really leaning
Yeah,
on to old
so he-
Family Guy references.
yeah, Family Guy reference counter. Never coming with that. I
Not
will make a
sponsored
counter
counts.
for the number of counters I'm supposed to count.
Eventually.
Yes.
Just like how we're going to eventually go back and fix the episodes to 2 to 3 instead of 1 to 3.
No, it's fine.
Comic books.
We'll do it live.
Well,
But yeah, they end up getting into this big argument. That's how they end up getting into the Ford versus Ferrari movie, where they want to try and fuck over Ferrari and be like, "We're just so much better than you,"
so
and
that's
that starts the
when
whole.
Christian Bale comes in.
Yeah, so they start up the whole, "I'm gonna win Le Mans. I'm gonna win Le Mans," and fuck them up. So
They don't.
they don't. But Shelby was trying to do some, fucking European races himself, and he was getting kind of tossed around a little bit because they actually have real racing over there, as opposed to just, I'm making a left turn. So they end up making the Daytona Cobra Coupe, which is the Cobra, but with that, like, more elongated, almost E-type body.
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, so that's where that comes from. That's the whole basis behind that, to try and do that.
Did he actually do
Ford-
the thing with the paper towel, with the toilet paper on the car?
Probably. I don't know. Turns out, not a mechanic.
Is that a question for me because I'm the mechanic?
No.
Well, because they're trying to figure out, like, drag or something like that. And he's like, when you do a certain way, it drags on the car. So they're like, to prove it, he put a whole bunch of paper towels over the car.
Oh yeah, that's how they
Yeah, there is-
show aerodynamics.
There is real ways to get aerodynamics from different things. If he did that, I don't know. It's not documented anywhere, as far as I'm aware of.
You
They
tape
made for a
string all
cool
over the
scene
car.
for them in the movie. Well, in this,
my
it was like
God.
toilet paper and it was like patches.
What?
Plus, yeah. I don't know. Whatever.
But they also, Ford picks up Shelby because he's still with them making Cobras, providing engines, and he's like, "Yo, I want a Mustang. That's where we get the GT350. I'm gonna fucking soup that bitch up, and I need your help getting over on fucking Ferrari." Shelby, because of a previous thing, which I never mentioned because of fuck it, ends up hating on Ferrari himself because they got into a little skirmish. He was one of the body designers for Ferrari, ends up going behind Ferrari and supplementing bodies to Shelby for a couple of the Cobras.
Okay.
And Ferrari was like, "Yo, how the fuck dare you ever be associated with something like that? We are Ferrari. Do you know who the fuck we are? Who the fuck is that? Never even look at them again." Type shit.
Yeah, well, Ford,
He's so overprotective of it. Not for Ford, but for Shelby, because he was using it on some Cobra prototypes. He was getting the body for Cobra prototypes.
okay.
And he was just like, "Who the fuck is Shelby?"
Well, wasn't it a Lamborghini who was like a tractor manufacturer who
Yeah.
just decided to become because
Yeah.
fuck you, Ferrari?
Yeah.
Yeah.
As it turns out, fuck you, Ferrari. That's the theme of the podcast today.
You know,
So-
speaking of fuck you,
So
Ferrari.
Enzo Ferrari is just kind of a dickhead, it seems.
That wasn't Enzo. That was Scaldia or something like that. Scaldaro. The one before Enzo.
Didn't Fiat end up buying Ferrari anyway?
Yeah.
Doesn't Fiat also own Ford now?
No,
No.
Chrysler.
No.
But
Go ahead.
But that's how they end up getting involved with the GT40. And the GT40, for a little trivia fact of the day, is Grand Touring 40 inches tall. So it's less than 4 feet tall, which means it comes up to about here on you.
Yeah. That's about waist height. What I'm
Is that
saying.
with the roof?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the whole
It's
car.
40 inches tall.
The whole car.
And yeah, and it is incredibly aerodynamic once they actually fixed it, because in 66 they ran it, 65 they ran it in Le Mans, and it had a lot of issues. And then 66 and 67 they won the podium on Le Mans. Like, fuck you, Ferrari.
Yeah, yeah. So speaking of fuck you, Ferrari.
Nobody cares.
I had a friend of
You
mine.
don't fuck you Ford because he screwed over Christian Bale.
It's funny because we're talking about Ford and Ferrari, and my friend has a GT350 that he's going to trade in, and he's got some extra cash laying around or whatever. And
As you do.
he was thinking about trading it in for a Porsche or for a Ferrari California. He went to the Ferrari dealer today on Long Island Ferrari, not sponsored.
Definitely not sponsored.
Definitely not sponsored.
Unless you want to give us a Ferrari, in which case I won't fight you.
Yeah.
But I will fight Andrew Tate and Logan Paul still. And Elon Musk. Susan, I won't fight you. You're powerful.
I'm
I
sorry,
want
but the
Zuckerberg
Ferrari
now.
California is probably one of the ugliest Ferraris ever built.
Why are you sorry?
It just needs to be brought out back and burned to the ground.
Why are you sorry? That's an opinion, man. That's just like your
It's an
opinion,
expression.
man.
It's just an expression.
I'll fucking roll on Shabbos.
Mike's blinking.
But
Made you look.
after doing all this work with Ford, he ends up basically just relegating himself to fucking around with Mustangs and doing little offshoots of that. And then he, still produces. He doesn't really do much about it. He just kind of teaches some racing schools, and then he ends up getting picked up again in the '80s by Chrysler. Yeah, he ends up getting picked up by Chrysler because Lee Iacocca is the head of operations for it. I think he's the full fucking head of everything in Chrysler at this point.
Yeah.
I've heard that name at least once.
Yeah, Lee Iacocca, regular car reviews, not sponsored. He ends up being like, yo, sales are fucking bad. Let's get somebody to tune up our shit and have fun with us, right? Let's make shit. Let's bring back our fucking name. Let's bring us
make
back.
Chrysler great again.
Make Chrysler great again.
Okay. Not sponsored. We all know who said that.
What are you talking about? This is Chrysler. The Chrysler LeBaron. Obviously, it's sponsored by LeBron.
For a white
LeBaron
Chrysler
LeBron.
LeBaron.
Well, you were
Short
talking about
skirt
making Chrysler
and a
great again.
Yeah.
Somebody else said that about America.
Long jacket.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, see, something you don't know. How do you not know that? You've never you.
Are you not
So-
trading in your MG for a white Chrysler LeBaron?
So he ends up getting picked up by Chrysler, and Lee Iacocca has an in with him because Lee Iacocca was not the head designer, but he was a designer for the Ford Mustang when they were releasing it. And obviously, Shelby played a little bit of role with that with the GT350, and he was fucking around with Ford cars, Ford engines at the time, and
Not gonna lie, the Mustangs in the 80s were ugly.
the Fox bodies.
Fox bodies?
Pretty sure it's the 80s ones I'm thinking of. One generation of the Mustang was really, really ugly to me. I just can't remember which one it
You're
was.
talking
might
about the
be
Mustang 2
You might be talking about the Mach 1.
or the Mustang 2.
Mach-
Basically a Pinto.
Fucking Mach 1 was ugly.
It was.
Terrible.
Unless you get into Mach 1 variants of newer ones.
I like
Then they just look almost identical to the ones that are out, except with the special paint job saying Mach 1 on it.
Yeah.
Like the Bullet car.
Yeah. Just special paint job.
I like the Mach 5. Here comes Speed Racer.
We're going to talk about some other cars. Some other cars that I might get. Like the Shelby Charger. Because there was a...
What did you just say?
So, there was... During the 80s, for Chrysler, Shelby did some special edition
Nice
Chargers.
pivot, by the way.
Okay.
They're not like a Shelby Charger, but there's some special edition Chargers.
Huh.
And there's the Dodge Omni GLH, Goes Like Hell. Now, for the last year of the Goes Like Hell, I think it's 84, there's the GLHS, which is one of the ones that they actually worked on in the Shelby factory and has a Shelby placard.
What does
So
the
it's
S stand
numbered.
for?
Shelby.
Oh, so it goes like
Dumbass.
Shelby? It couldn't be like goes like hell.
Super. Splendiferous.
Slightly better.
Goes like hell, slightly more. And then after this, he ends up working and helping develop the Viper. He does a couple pace cars. He does one in a Chrysler.
A Viper's another one I want.
He does. He does one in a Chrysler, and then the following year for the Indy 500, he was going to do one in the Dodge Stealth, which you know what that is,
I
right?
don't know what a Dodge Stealth is.
Yeah, it's the Mitsubishi 3000 GT.
Yeah.
But there was a big uproar about it because it's a Japanese car. The
Yeah.
Dodge Stealth is just rebranded.
Exactly.
So they were like, all right, well, I
Interesting
guess we'll
flex.
give them... What's up?
Interesting flex.
So I guess we'll give them the Viper RT10 prototype. Go do a pace car in that. And he fucking did the Indy 500 in the prototype Viper. And then after that, he ends up working with Ford again and doing all these super special edition Fords. We've had a couple Super Snakes since the original. We've had King Cobras. We've had all sorts of silliness. We have the Velociraptor. Sorry, we have the Raptor. Velociraptor's somebody else. Who we should mention. A couple other major names in American, almost production modification
Is
cars.
there a T-Rex?
Because let's be real, at this point, Shelby is basically a production mod car.
Yes.
So let's talk about a couple of the other ones that you can get. Just because he is the most famous, the most prolific, and basically inspired these fuckers.
Oh my God, there's so many.
I'm talking like production ones, like Hennessy.
The
Yes.
beer company?
No.
First off, it's not beer.
It's not beer.
I'm sorry, the liquor company?
Yes,
I'm thinking of Heineken for a second.
you sure are.
Not sponsored.
But no, we're talking about John Hennessy.
Oh my God, I think
He does like the Hennessy Exorcist when they were doing shit like that, and he turned the Shelby Raptor into the Velociraptor because it wasn't powerful enough. Things like that.
Is there,
Lingenfelter did a little bit for Corvette
is there
in
a
the 90s
Brontosaurus?
and 2000s.
yeah, my ex coworker had a Lingenfelter.
Dude, those things are fucking badass.
Yeah.
I mean, they are fucking insane.
Fucking engine bays are tight, man.
Yeah, that was the C4 Corvette?
No.
Or was it the C5 they did? Because right now we're on the C8.
No, it was in there. It was like 2006.
So C5 into C6.
Yeah, something like that.
Because I think it's like 04 is when C5 ends.
Yes.
Because you have the original one. The one that Carroll Shelby fucked around with a little bit and was
Yeah.
like, yo, hook me up. And then you have C2, where it's kind of that weird in between of the C1 being beautiful, and then the C3, which was the Stingray, with its superb wheel arches.
Superb.
Yitch. Then we go on to the Stingray, the C3.
The 90s.
No, the C3. That's the 70s,
The biggest car.
Okay.
with the wheel arches / late 60s.
You're right.
Golden arches.
Generation.
Then that pretty much lasts until the late 70s and 80s. That brings out the C4. That's when we start to get that rounded back, and it goes from being the huge wheel arches,
Yeah.
huge,
How about Corvettes?
yes,
Okay.
and it starts being that
That's when we got the
the
first.
Corvette.
That's when we first got the round taillights.
I want to take
Yeah.
one of those new C7
And then from
Stingrays.
there, we get the C5. That's late 80s to 90s. And I think it transitions into early 2000s. It was around for a while.
So then
it's the
it
one that
was-
Grandpa had.
So then,
yeah,
so
the
then
red
his
one.
Lincolnfelter was either a C6
Did he
or a
crash
C.
that?
Yeah, it was probably a C6.
Then the C6 was wherever the C5 ended. I think, like I said, early 2000s till about like 20. When did the C7 come out?
What's the Cushman?
Shit.
Because the C7, I feel like it wasn't around for very long.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't around for. I think it was.
I think it only did like 6 years, 7 years.
Yeah.
And then the C8 came out.
this, which is just a fucking rebadged fucking Ferrari.
Slightly different.
I cannot stand the new Vet. They should never have gone rear engine.
I want one of the C7s,
Whatever.
and I want to
They
take the
should
body
never have
off
gone
and put a Mach
mid-engine.
5 body on it.
Well, it's just looks,
Just because.
it's just not. It's not traditional American muscle Corvette. The Vet has always been front engine.
All I'm hearing is, "Wah, I'm old and I don't like change."
No? don't think that would be fun?
But yeah, Carroll Shelby,
You didn't
he did a
hear,
lot.
did you?
No, I didn't hear you. What'd you
You
say?
said I want to take the C7, take the body off, and then put a Mach 5 for Speed Racer on it.
That'll be interesting.
But Carroll Shelby, he did a lot. He was a failed chicken farmer. He was a very prolific for a very short time race car driver. He fucked over Ferrari, built a racing empire with his modifications.
All with a heart problem.
Yes, all while having to deal with heart issues. Speaking of, in '91, he got a heart transplant and ended up setting up the Carroll Shelby Foundation, which was a charity for people to get heart transplants. Because he got one himself. And then the next year he was out doing the pace lap.
I love how you're trying to wrap this up and it goes off again.
And then he ends up doing the pace lap in the Viper prototype the next year. After getting the fucking heart transplant.
Jesus Christ, this guy's a fucking beast.
Yeah, I mean, he was only like 60 at the time, 70 at the time. Who would have guessed? Yeah, he lived to almost 90. He born 23, passed away in
You said
2012. So he was a year shy. He was 89.
Wow. That's a long time to live.
Yeah, a long time to be a fucking badass.
I wonder if he met Betty White.
Probably.
Yeah. They probably fucked in a Shelby.
That'd be cool.
I mean, he
got into fisticuffs with Christian Bale.
He was pretty much like the guy for the 50s in racing. He was a fucking playboy for a hot while. And then, like I said, heart issues, stopped racing. But, I mean, he just pretty much touch any car and, alright, well, now it's fucking valuable after a certain point.
Yeah. That's a name that you for years.
They're still making replicas with the Factory 5. They're making
I mean, they're making
collector's
DeLoreans
editions,
still.
I think it is. Starting with the 80s, they started reproducing certain Cobras as collectors or collection edition, something like that, collectible edition, copy edition. I don't remember exactly what it's called. But they start off with a C in their denominator, so it's like C.
It's CCX.
Yeah.
It's on the frame. If you really
Yeah.
want to know if it's a real Cobra, you open the hood, and on the driver's side, on the frame rail,
See, now he fucking knows Cobra.
there's
Look at me, I don't know what a 427 is,
It'll-
but I know
it'll
where to
say
find a CCX.
it'll be CCX instead in the frame. I learned that from the History Channel.
Not sponsored.
Not sponsored.
Not
Or
sponsored
it
by
was either
Pawn
the History
Star
Channel or the
reruns.
Discovery Channel, not sponsored.
So, if you could choose any car that he touched, what would it be and why?
Any car that he touched, it'd be a 1969 Shelby GT500
Why?
because it's Illinois.
Gone in 60 seconds.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
E2 Brute?
His personal cars?
Yes. It has to be from his personal collection.
I mean, well, something he made, whatever he
Just something Shelby that he touched.
probably like a Cobra or something.
Any particular one?
No, I'm not good with numbers and names and stuff.
I want to see what he did with the Corvettes before he
Yeah.
got paired up with the
That's
AC.
actually.
I want to
something
see
would like
that.
to see. And the Chargers too.
And then after that, it would be a 65 Cobra.
Actually, if somebody likes Dodges, yeah, I think I'd go with the Shelby Charger.
Because the 65 is the first for the side pipes. And it's the first year for the 427. Which, the civilian version of the 427 is actually a 428. The racing version is a 427.
Yes.
Why is the civilian slightly bigger?
It's 10th.
So it's slightly bigger, but the way that it's set up in terms of compression and valve timing and everything, completely different animals. And what you're actually getting with the 427 is a monster of a car. What you're getting with the 428, which was the labeled as a 427, is still a monster of a car, but it's not the real 427. They compared a 427 racing Shelby Cobra to a 2011.
Wait, I'll amend my answer. I'll take the Viper, the prototype Viper. Sorry.
So they compared the 427 actual Shelby Cobra with 500 horsepower to the 750 horsepower GT500 from the 2011 run.
Okay.
And they were keeping up with each other.
That's
There's
insane.
50 years of difference effectively, and they were fucking around with each other.
Well, here's another question: was the older motor, the 427, was it carbureted or fuel injected? Did they have it? Do you know how they had it set up?
65, I believe it was a.
Well, no, you could. Did they set it up as a carbureted setup?
No, it was. I believe it was the carbureted.
Hey, that's badass.
Yeah, I'm. You should know what you can get out of a fucking carbureted car from fucking old muscle back in the day.
Oh my god, depends on the car. I mean, how you set it up. I mean, it depends on the.
Go ahead,
CFMs.
explain.
I liked my Buick. It was carbureted. Sorry.
You could do dual carburetors. You can
So
get.
that's what I'm saying. Like, you know just how insane you could go with it.
Yeah, that's what I was just curious because.
No, I don't think they touched the engine bay to like update it at all.
Yeah. All right.
Because number one, those cars are so insanely fucking rare. The real 427, not the 428.
Yeah.
The racing one.
Yeah.
And then how would you feel dignified to even like, all right, well, this isn't good enough.
We're gonna slap.
Fuck Shelby.
Yeah.
How are you gonna do that?
How do you improve on perfection?
You can't. It'll be
You swap a
blasphemy.
pulley.
I will say, if you're ever in Vegas, check out the Carroll Shelby Museum. There's one there. That's where the Shelby racing team is set up there, their development. And I have never seen more Cobras.
I haven't been in Vegas since 05. So
I've never.
So
been
you
to
were
Vegas
like
at all.
30?
I'm not that fucking old. Fuck you.
You're not that old.
I'm not that fucking old.
I like how he asked Dad, I'm not that fucking old.
Yeah, well, because the 38's kind of, I mean, pushing it.
He's not that young either.
I think I kind of look damn good for 38.
Sure. Think what you want.
I mean, you're 30 now.
Fuck off.
Yeah.
And did
Welcome
you know what
to
I
the
got
fucking
him for?
30s.
You know what I got him for his 30th birthday? I got him a dinosaur fossil.
He did. He did. He got me a dinosaur fossil.
Happy fucking birthday.
Yeah. I'll take that 20 pack. Yeah, seriously, check out the Carroll Shelby Museum
Yeah,
in
definitely.
Vegas.
I'm
If you ever get the
museum in
chance,
up
he
north.
has an autobiography book out. He has an autobiography out, which the name is slipping me. Ford vs Ferrari is neat. There's a lot of liberties taken. There's a couple really good, like,
Excuse you.
shows and podcasts that you can check out about his life, and more specifically, just the racing ventures of his cars. You can spend 4 or 5 hours just talking about Cobras alone and all of the races that they've been in.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's insane.
Yeah.
So, just trying to go over the man, Carroll Shelby.
The man, the myth, the legend.
Yes, Carroll's a dude.
You know, I named.
Spoiler alert. We're an hour and some odd minutes in. He's a dude. Spoiler alert.
Oh, and for those playing at home, the car I'm referencing was the Black Beauty from Green Hornet, the 66 Chrysler Imperial Crown.
Nobody's gonna fucking guess that in the comments.
Nobody will. I know.
Not one person.
Nobody gives a shit. This
Except for-
podcast sucks.
Probably that one fuck who keeps commenting on himself to get canceled.
I don't know what you're talking about. I have the fuckiest idea.
Fuck that guy. He's an asshole.
Do you want to know? I named my
Probably,
cat,
sure.
I named my cat after Carroll Shelby.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
Wait,
Do you
was it
remember
Carroll or
I was-
Shelby?
Shelby.
Oh, okay.
Do you remember I was there before you got your cat?
Yes, I remember you were there before I got my cat. Yes.
Do you remember I helped set up your fucking Saturn's engine block?
Yeah. Yeah.
Fucking...
Sitting there with Scotch Brite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I ended up going on to like 4,000 fucking grit sandpaper. I'm gonna polish this bitch.
Make it shine like a mirror.
Spradlin, what the fuck did you do? What did you do? You said make smooth. Me make smooth.
It's a fucking mirror.
You want level? I'll give you true level.
Zing!
Wait, did you actually? Whatever.
I forgot you've been around that long, man. I forgot we've been friends for that long.
Ouch.
I'm sorry. Listen, my memory these days is shot.
Too much drugs.
No, I don't do drugs.
I actually have a pretty good memory.
Dude,
I do a lot of
we've
drugs.
known each other since like 2014.
I think longer than that.
No, because I met you when I had the Fiesta.
Yeah, I know.
And I
Oh, shit,
bought
I
the
remember the
Fiesta,
Fiesta.
in 2013. November of 2013.
He went to racing school with the thing.
Yeah,
For the-
SD Octane Academy.
Yeah, I know. I remember that.
Yeah. So, I'm saying, because it was at the end of November when I actually got hand of the car, that is, I've known you since 2014. I'm assuming I didn't meet you within that month time period that was left over of 2013. And if I did, fuck it, I'm rounding.
Yeah, it's fine. I'm not gonna take offense to it.
But
I take all the offense though.
back to Carroll. You can still send off your cars and get modifications for, you know, if you want to make your Ford F-150 into a fucking Raptor, you can send it off. You can get that shit done. They still sell Shelby cars at Ford dealerships. And Shelby GT500s, Shelby GT350s. I mean,
I think
the
they
fucking...
always will. I don't think his name is going anywhere anytime soon.
Look at these
I
massive
closed my
hands.
kit, but I forgot to put this back.
Wah!
I am dumb.
As long as you're saying it, not me.
I
But-
want that Whopper, but I have these tiny hands.
I don't know if they'll always do it.
Yeah.
I feel at some point they have to just let it pass.
They'll probably do what they did already. It'll pass for a while, and then
Does he have any kids doing it?
No.
the
He still has the team, but I don't think his kids are involved as in, like, CEOs or anything like that. It's just the Ford Racing, the Shelby Racing, Shelby America Inc. is just doing that, and I want to say they were bought by Ford not too long ago, or like partially bought by Ford,
Yeah, I think so.
because I think they wanted that mutual, the mutual exclusivity.
Yeah.
Probably. That makes sense.
So it'll go away for a little while.
And then they'll come out with another
then
GT350.
They'll come out with another GT350 or GT500, and then it'll go away again. It'll the name. I don't.
And he does more than just Mustangs and F-150s.
I mean, if his kids were doing stuff, it would make sense.
He does more than that, because you can find Shelby kits for old Ford Focuses, for Lincolns, for all sorts of silliness. Still Ford related, but
I'm surprised that his kids aren't more involved in it.
Honestly, if you think about it, it'd almost be an easy paycheck for them. Oh,
like I said, I don't think that they're not involved. I just think that they're not the developing house of it. I think that they're not at the forefront of it. I think that they're just like, yeah, we're here. But I think it's left over with some of the original mechanics, some of the original team that he was with.
Which is sad, because I would have loved to have seen it passed down generation to generation.
If people aren't involved, they're not involved, man. You can't force a kid.
this is true.
Yes, you fucking can. No, I'm kidding.
Sounds like somebody has parents' issues.
Oh, Lord.
But
Alright.
yeah, let's wrap
Alright.
up. We'll finish by talking about more cars. The old fake out.
Yeah, we're done. No, we're not. We're not done. This is what happens when you get car guys together. They just keep going and going and going.
Oh, he's not a car guy.
No.
And I'm pretty far removed since I joined the Navy. I turned into a submarine guy. And then after that...
Yeah, that's right. You're not a car guy anymore. You drive a fucking
the submarine
Volvo
guys
XC.
turned into him.
That's an XC90?
XC60.
XC60. You couldn't even get the XC90. You got the XC60.
And I have my Prius.
To be fair, that's the top of the line for the XC60.
No
Well,
joke.
technically it's not the inscription. It's the R, but it has Polestar engineered. So it's been back into the factory in order to get Polestar to actually fuck around
Yeah.
with the ECU.
You ready for this?
It has airbags, which, knowing my luck, are going to go. It's got the T6 engine.
You ready for this one about my
So at
Prius?
least it has, the fucking twin charger.
Okay.
Okay. So
You're still on about this? Oh,
Normally,
fuck.
I put $30 a week into that thing. That fills up the tank. Lasts me about a week, right?
This is going to be a great
The
story.
2 days that I've been driving into the city so far, I have gone through a half
sponsored.
a fucking tank.
As it turns
2
out,
days
the
going
city
to the
does
city
that.
is like almost is over half a week worth of driving.
You want to talk about gas mileage?
Fucking bullshit. How does that?
Yeah, you want
work?
to talk about gas mileage? I put in premium.
I got to
Hold on.
fucking Maine. No, not Maine. I got to Maryland and used less gas getting to Maryland
So did
than
I.
I did 2 days going to the city.
I also
What the
went.
fuck?
I also went to Maryland. I needed to fill up, but I also went to Maryland. And if we really want to be honest, please explain your gas price.
Okay, which car would you like me to start with?
Let's start with the most fuel efficient, the Caprice.
Yes, the Caprice is the most fuel efficient.
And by most fuel efficient, we mean like 19.
Yeah, because my foot is always on the floor doing 90 miles an hour because it's a police package, because it's a ex-cop car.
Whose fault is that?
That's mine. I bought it.
Yeah, cop cars are not known for
Next.
saving gas.
Next, so that would be the 2001 military Humvee, the M1025A2. We get 8 miles to the diesel.
Now hold on. That's the second most fuel efficient. A fucking Hummer. Next.
we have a 93 turbo Saturn with 614 horsepower and
Estimated.
no, a dynoed.
When?
Oh, last year.
When it was running?
Yeah, running and driving.
And is it running now?
No.
So it's estimated at 614.
No, it actually
It
made.
had 614. It's estimated to be around there again once
Yes,
it's up
but
and running.
it's not down because of the engine or anything like that. It's down for something stupid. The one part of the car I didn't modify brakes on me, and
Please, sir, tell me what happened.
All right, so basically the factory
We
harness.
started off with Carroll Shelby.
It's a car thing.
The factory harness runs down a hole in the engine bay.
There's
And-
a reason we won't have a John in a while. I'm not gonna add your last name.
Okay, so this wire loom, which is like the main harness for the factory wires for the engine, runs right down a hole, and every time I shifted,
People go down the hood.
yeah, every time I shifted, it would just ever so slightly pull on this harness, ever so slightly,
So wait,
and it was pulling and pulling and
Hold
pulling
on.
all this time, all these years.
what I'm hearing is a modification caused this to happen.
No.
So we need to modify the modification to make it more gentle on it.
Gentle.
No,
You
I
gotta be
just
gentle in the
need
hole.
to just make the hole bigger
Jen-
so it doesn't rub and touch.
Oh.
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 So you
Jeez,
gotta-
I do not envy your girlfriend.
Yo. No, not telling the story. Not telling the story.
So basically, it rubbed through, and I'm at a light one day, and all of a sudden, this big cloud of smoke just starts billowing up from the dash, and I'm like, "What the fuck. I'm like, no fire, no fire, no fire. I put it in neutral, I turned off the ignition, and the smoke went away. I was like, okay, so it's ignition related. So I couldn't turn the key on, otherwise it'll keep smoking. So I had to push the car home.
Wow.
Yeah. So I've since fixed the wires behind the dash and that go out to the engine bay. But I just now need to fix the fuse box, which is going to be very hard to find because they don't make my car no more. And my car is not even in junkyards anymore.
That is how old and piece of junk a Saturn is.
It's-
That they
Wait,
junk it
so we
from
never
the
went over the gas
junkyard.
mileage though for it. What's the gas
Okay.
mileage?
Well, when it was running,
When it was running, it was like 6, 7.
Miles to the gallon.
And this
yeah.
racing fuel nonetheless.
Oh, no.
The gas you can't even get at a gas station.
Last one, please. We're almost done. We're at a moving building now.
Okay, so the last one would be the work van.
A moving building.
Yes, essentially it weighs probably 9,000 pounds with all the tools in it.
It probably weighs more than
It's a
that.
Ford 2015 Ford Transit, and we get about
I like how you keep using the we for these.
we get
about 6
royal we.
yeah, you said it, about 6 miles to the gallon. On the highway, good thing we get 12 and a half.
But this is not racing fuel, so I feel like it should be number 3.
We can make it number 3. That's fine.
Maybe because it's not diesel, we can make it number 2.
Yeah, okay, we can do that too.
So what we figured out is that he doesn't know how to count.
No.
He are mechanic. He no smart.
No, I don't know how to count. You're lucky.
How
I
many
can-
times has the mechanical tap actually worked for you?
The mechanical what?
Tap.
What do you
Mechanical agitation.
You just hit it and it works.
mean? Hit what?
Anything.
Never had that happen?
No.
You've never
You've
like,
never needed to use it on a starter?
You've never
Oh.
like when you just like got like you doing
I've
something you
used
have
it
to
on a
get
starter,
it and
but
whack.
I whacked it with a hammer, not my fist.
Yeah, you hit it with.
Let me explain something to you
I
that
can't-
you should know,
agitation.
mechanic. Anything is a hammer.
Yes, you're
Hulk,
right.
Hulk
I've
no
used
need hammer.
screwdrivers
Hulk
for
hammer.
handles. I've used adjustable wrenches for handles.
Hand hammer.
I've used a ratchet for a hammer.
I've seen him.
Bitch,
Said-
I can
said
pick-
handle. Now you made me say handle. You see, now I really.
I can pick you up and you'll be a hammer.
Yeah. What else have I used for a hammer?
You dick.
I've tried to use
Came
drill
out
bits
knife.
for hammers. On really small.
You can. It's just really hard to do.
See what the thing is you take the drill bit, you just put it up, and then you just tap it with the actual hammer. Ah.
You've never needed to use 2 hammers on each other?
Yes, I have.
See, there you go.
Long
You've
time.
never
ago.
had
Any-
to hammer your hammer?
Anytime you have a hammer, if it's even a chisel hammer, and a hammer, proper, any hammer is a hammer.
Yeah, I've done that.
You've
That's-
hammered a hammer.
Yeah, I've hammered a hammer. Yeah.
See,
Yeah.
there you go.
Very long time ago. I can barely remember, but yeah.
What about a slug wrench?
A slug wrench?
Yeah, a slugging wrench. You've never needed to use one of those? The wrench actually designed to be hit by a hammer?
No, I've never needed one of those.
Clearly you don't deal with enough torque.
That's
Have you
some
seen
Navy
my
stuff.
torque stick?
Maybe.
He's like doing whole nuclear engines, my dude.
No.
I am willing to bet the amount of torque that I dealt with is more than yours combined.
Probably
This
is.
is going to ocean depths.
I would hope that the submarine's torque specs are higher than a car's frame bolts, you know?
Oh, no. I was including what they produce.
Okay.
So all of the bolts plus what they produce combined.
What's the highest torque spec that you torqued a bolt to?
For legal reasons, I'm not allowed to.
Oh, shut up.
For legal reasons, I am not allowed to.
Dude, he will be like, his favorite thing is a great question, glad you asked.
For legal reasons, I am not allowed to disclose information like that.
That's like,
I
you
don't
know,
even-
that's
I'm
like
not
trying to
asking
say
you
like,
what
oh, what's the
bolt,
top
where
speed
it
and
is
top
the bolt.
height, top mileage.
What is the highest I have seen?
No. what is the highest you've seen a bolt on a submarine needed to be torqued to?
For legal reasons, he's not allowed to tell you.
Shut up. Who's gonna
My
know?
man.
Vladimir Putin wants to know.
All right.
All I will say
Don't
is,
tell me. That's okay.
all I will say
The
is,
guy who Sean Connery plays in Red October wants to
If
know.
I name a number, can you say yes or no?
all I will say is, I have seen some big ass fucking slugging wrenches on these bolts being pounded away with 20-pound sledgehammers.
Okay, so like 1,000 foot-pounds.
For legal reasons, I can't say. But what I will say is, they were pounding away on these fucking.
So 1,200 foot-pounds.
Big. Yes. Just big.
Big. Okay? Big. Number
2,000?
big.
2,000.
Number.
You ever see like those Chinese factory
Listen, a
videos
human
where they're
being
like,
can't physically torque more than its own fucking like.
More than its own fuck?
No,
I agree.
like, a human being's not gonna be able to torque a bolt to 2,000 foot-pounds. So we gotta be like between 2,000 and obviously 0, but
Well, we could go negative.
we
then
can
that's
untorque
loosening.
it. Lefty Roosey, righty
See,
tighty.
it's the opposite of torque. The anti-torque.
Do you know there are special screws designed to go the opposite ways?
Yes,
Yeah.
How weird
they're
is
reverse
that?
thread.
It's so weird.
I see them all the time.
Science.
I see them all the time.
Yeah. Mostly because he gets fucked all the time.
Yeah.
Sorry, he gets screwed all the time. All right, let's actually wrap up this podcast. We'll
All
finish
right.
it out with
With Alexa,
We'll finish
play
it out
closing
with
time.
no. If you could be on any racetrack, racing your,
Ooh,
what would it be?
Nürburgring.
With your Saturn?
Yeah.
You think it would last? That's a big fucking race.
I'm gonna kill you.
Not if your car breaks down.
Nürburgring.
Is that like in Germany? That sounds
Yeah,
German.
Yeah.
it is. It's German. Amazing track.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. I've never been. I'd like to go, but yeah, be a Nürburgring.
And he's gonna put his Hummer on it.
I wanna
I'm
do
not
it.
gonna go very fast. The Hummer only does 65 miles an hour.
That's okay. That's too fast for that.
Yeah, you're not allowed. You're not supposed to go over 45, but
Wait,
I don't
what?
listen to that.
Yeah, with the Hummer, you're not supposed to go over 45 for legal reasons.
No, I thought the track we could only not go over 30, 45. For
No.
Track, there's no speed limit.
It's a track.
Mm.
It could be anything. It could even be a boat. You know how much we wanted one of these. So then why don't we just get the boat? We're going with a mystery box.
Family Guy reference counter.
Ding. Reference two counters that are never going to get countered. Ding. So, for you, you wanted the 66 Imperial. What other car?
A Viper maybe, or a Dodge Challenger.
Any particular year or model?
Oh,
I'm assuming you don't want an SXT.
I like the one that was in Death Proof.
That was based off of. It was the White Challenger based off of.
Vanishing One, I think?
Vanishing Point.
Vanishing Point, yeah. Vanishing
Do you remember that one offhand? I think it was
No.
a 72.
I think so.
Because it was that, and then the other one was a Charger that he used, and then before that he used a Nova, I think. It's been a bit since I've seen the film.
All right. So what I'm hearing is you want the Charger from Vanishing Point.
Challenger, but yeah, whatever.
Yeah. What did I say?
Charger.
Sure.
I just like Challengers and Dodge stuff, and then the Chrysler Imperial because the, black, blue, green Hornet and stuff.
Anything for me?
What's
Questions for you?
What's your dream car?
what's my dream car?
Yeah.
So if we go with realistic or unrealistic, it changes. Because realistic, in some point, I might be able to afford a 1959 Chevy El Camino. At some point, I might be able to afford one. They're still like sub 60K for most of them, just to get in. I've found some for like 20K just to get in. They're not good.
You can get a Subaru Brat.
No joke. I found.
I sure could, or I could die.
I found a.
If we're talking unrealistic, I would probably want Carroll Shelby's Super Snake, not the Bill Cosby cursed one. But that's way unrealistic because there's one of one, and it's his car, so that's way unrealistic.
Yeah, it's probably
so to
not
rein it back to just normal unrealistic dreams, probably just a 65 Cobra, the 427 in particular, or a 80. Fuck, was it 80? I know this. 1986 RS200, Ford RS200. It's either 86 or 87. It was right after came out the year before Group B rally got disbanded.
I think it's 86.
Just because the things that car could do were insane. But this has been Stumbling Down History Road. We fucking stumbled all over the place.
Yeah.
We're having fun again.
If you're still with us,
I don't know why.
good night.
Look out for a
Good night
lost episode.
and good fight.
Yeah.
Same bat time, same bat channel.